Hi, welcome to the Nation Raya Special. I am PASHA RAHIM, and today we will be taking a very nostalgic trip down the road to the 1970s. And you know, we're just going to be exploring how our Idul Fitri celebrations have changed from then and what has remained the same. Now, with us today are two of Malaysia's most iconic storytellers. We have with us today, I would like to introduce an award-winning author and cultural observer known for her beautiful Kebaya tales. Please welcome Dr. Lee Soo Kim, and also sitting next to her, a writer who is a true guardian of our heritage, our folklore, and the magic of our ancient legends, the wonderful NINOT AZIZ. Welcome, ladies. Thank you for joining us today and spending your Hari Raya with us in studio. Let's start our journey back to the 70s, Dr. Lee. Now, you've written so much about our shared identity as Malaysians. And in the 70s, you know, I wasn't born then, so perhaps you could share with us what happens during Hari Raya back then. Raya would start weeks earlier, even during Ramadan. You know, families would come together to cook the dodol, and it's pretty much a community coming together in the kitchen to prepare for Hari Raya. But if we look at today, a lot of the things that we get, food on our table or even our cookies, are all added to our cart and purchased online. So, you know, are we losing any of the essence of you know, the preparations of Hari Raya because we don't feel that physical sweating in the kitchen, you know, bertungkus lumus, bergotong royong in the kitchen together? Are we also then losing our emotional bond with our community, with our family members, with our neighbors?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I would have to say yes, sadly so. Let me share from my perspective.
Sure.
I'm a sixth-generation Nyonya, and I come from, well, my father's a Baba from Malacca, and my mother is a Nyonya from Penang, and she was a fabulous cook. So about 2 weeks or even about 3 weeks before Chinese New Year, she would be busy in the kitchen, you know, making baking cakes, butter cake. She would make pineapple tarts. She would make koi bang cake. Sometimes the kuih called kuih kapek, which is like a real big operation. She's got a whole team of people sitting there. My ama would be helping in as well. My black and white ama, she'd be sitting there twirling the kuih kapek molds, and all of us would sort of get it around.
Right.
And so it was a very joyful kind of experience. A lot of camaraderie, lots of gossiping and chattering and laughing, wonderful smells, wonderful sounds. So that was that time when women were, you know, very engaged in preparing things for Chinese New Year. But yeah, I agree with you. Now it's so easy. With the click of the mouse, you can just order everything online.
Right, and everything is at the tip of our fingers, literally on our mobile phones. I think somewhere along the way, we've sort of also lost the appreciation for, you know, the art of making our traditional kuih, right? NINOT, back then, Raya season or leading up to Hari Raya, it's always, you know, that journey, that balik kampung journey.
Yes.
And also back then, those days, we didn't have the highways that we do, that we have now. And it used to be, you know, quite an epic journey through dark roads, you know, through the dark forest. I wouldn't know personally because I'm a city girl. I've always celebrated Hari Raya in a city all my life, and those journeys were often filled with stories, you know, just to keep each other company through the journeys, right? So how did that slow journey act back then in those days? It used to be a rite of passage for families. How has that changed compared to, you know, these days we take a flight or, you know, perhaps even a train, or now, you know, a drive down to Kota Baru that used to take 8 to 10 hours is now only 5 to 6 hours. Not during the Raya Jam lah, but you know. How has that journey, that balik kampung journey, how has it changed from back then to
now? Well, my Hari Raya journey when I was young was always going back to Kampung Ceno, Temerloh, Pahang. Nowadays, it would be maybe 2 hours. 2 hours, right? This is a quaint little kampung, more than 200 years old and all that. That journey in the 1970s with my dad, that would take 5 to 6 hours on the Karak Highway.
Right.
No, not the Karak Highway, the Karak Way, the
Right.
old road, and it will be sometimes filled with trepidation because it is, you know, the roads were curvy and all that, and it will be slow. But my mom had this, arwah maknya, she had this way of us lulling the time away by singing P. Ramlee songs. So that was how we got through that long journey home. And we know at the end of the day, when we reach home, there would be back then, it wasn't cooking in the kitchen, my dear. We actually had a whole garden kind of setup.
Right.
With the kawa in the garden, with the dapur kayu also in the garden, everything in the garden at night. It was magical, the pasang panjot and all that. So, well, if you say compared to today, how it is, I'm sure there is that loss of sense of the kampung feel. But you do try to build your own traditions, like in your own garden or in your own home. There is something that you take away that continues that for each family. And each family will be different, but you bring that spirit. And I think the thing to remember is the spirit is important,
Yeah.
not the little things you do. Of course they matter, but the spirit of it, how do you transcend that over the years?
Right. Talking about the spirit of things, you know, back then our baju raya used to be, you know, something that was very symbolic as well. You know, our grandmother or our mothers would hand sew our baju raya. Today it's mostly high fashion or things that we just buy online or at those pop-up stores, which are very popular these days. From a heritage standpoint, how do we keep you know, the significance, the symbolism of our traditional attire alive, so that it doesn't just become annual costume for, you know, outfit of the day photos for social media these days?
Well, I own about 40 to 50 kebayas. I love kebayas. My grandmothers wore kebayas. Well, firstly baju panjang, and then eventually they switched to the Nyonya sarong kebaya. My mother also wore sarong kebaya, so I also try to wear for like events, celebrations, weddings, even when giving talks or attending conventions or conferences, I wear the sarong kebaya. And also another, I suppose the question was the symbolism of the attire. I think I maintain links with my mother and, you know, grandmothers, that line of continuity by wearing things that she's passed on to me. For example, I'm wearing her krosang. So although she's passed away, I feel that, you know, there's still this link.
Piece of her that's
that's still around, and she'll be so chuffed, you know, that she's still in a way represented. Another thing that I try to do is it's a kind of legacy thing, where I have written books, short stories about the babas and nyonyas. I mean, it's such a colorful, flamboyant, vivacious community, lots of very interesting traditions and color, you know. So I've written 3 collections of short stories, and for each collection, I name it after the attire. So for example, if I could show you.
Sure.
The first collection of short stories, I decided, why not name it after the attire of the Nyonyas? So it's called Kebaya Tales. And after that, of course, with the kebaya, you have to have the sarong, right?
Yes.
So along came the second collection, and it was just a no-brainer to call it Sarong Secrets of Love, Loss and Longing. So there's 2 collections of short stories, and I thought, okay, that's fine. I've written 2 collections. But my editor said, how about another collection of short stories? And I thought, okay. So I proceeded, wrote the short stories, all together 35. Now, what shall I call this third book? Why not name it after the shoes? Because the Nyonyas like to wear the beaded shoes.
Beaded shoes,
made of manik, right? So it was either something to do with krosang tales, or so I decided to call it manik mischiefs. So in that sense, as NINOT would agree, stories are like the repository of a culture, passing down lived experiences. And I think that, in a way, helps to keep the legacy alive through the stories of the community.
Right. NINOT, let's talk about, you know, our early morning Pagi Raya ritual.
Oh, yes.
Which, you know, gladly we still do until today. However, throughout the years, perhaps some of the meaning has been lost. It used to be, you know, a moment where we truly sit down with our family members, with our parents, and we ask for forgiveness. It used to be a very tearful moment where we reflect on the previous year. This year, sometimes it's just an opportunity for a family photo. What are your thoughts on that? You know, and how do we ensure that, you know, that this ritual of Maaf Zahir Batin really becomes something that's spiritual and emotional, and not just something that we do in passing?
Well, maybe I'm always positive, I do not know. But just like the Baju Raya and our national costumes and stuff like that, I see with the rise of social media, I see the young ones actually. And when I talk about the young ones, I mean the 20-something and 30-something, because, you know, that's now my young ones.
Right.
So I see them, actually, there is an uprising of how you dress, how you think, going back to what we had before and appreciating it.
Right.
Likewise with the Salam Raya. So I was kind of like taking it for granted too. Then one year, I think about 10 years ago, my eldest daughter actually had her full Salam Raya prepared. Like she was, this is what I'm thankful for, this is what this, and she, it was like a small little speech. And I was crying at the end of it, because that really shows that even the years have passed, but she carried something with her. They might lose it along the way, but there comes a point that they reflect on that, and they come up with their way of saying, maafkan saya. When I was little, it used to be, the flippant side was kosong-kosong kind of a thing. Yeah, but they came up with their own way. And the other thing I think that helped is, it's not only the Salam Raya, but it's also going to the Perkuburan after that. And that brings in a little bit emotion. And that is important to my children because of their grandparents. And so that whole well, not ritual, but the whole thing that we do, Pagi Raya has become bigger, to remember grandparents, to Bersalam Raya. It has come back actually.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah, it really is a very beautiful thing to see. And now, you know, whether it is just for show, for social media, but to see it being practiced and for it to continue on, it is something that it's actually, in fact, very beautiful.
Yes, you are what you do.
Yeah,
The actions that you take actually become you. So that's good.
We have something similar to the Nyonyas and Babas.
Right.
We have this thing called the Soja, where on the first day of Chinese New Year, the children have to kneel in front of the parents
Yes.
and, in a way, say thank you to the parents, and then the response is we give them an ang pao. So not many families practice that, but we also have that. We call it Soja.
Yes, that's
so it's a
exactly what
very beautiful
what we
rituals.
have.
Yeah, but I suppose
Very
at the end of the
meaningful.
day, you know, it is up to the individual person or the families to, you know, keep up with the traditions as we go along, right? So speaking about traditions, I remember when I was a young girl in school, you know, we had the practice of sending each other Raya cards. And it's something that we put so much thought and effort into, right? We'll go out to the shops and we'll select, you know, back then it used to be the comics lah, right?
Yeah.
Or sometimes we'll pick something. We will pick something that we feel it depends on who we're sending it to. If we're sending it to friends, then we'll choose something funny or a comic card. And in the 70s, writing Hari Raya card, it's, you know, you put a lot of thought into it. It's very personal. You know, you're basically pouring your heart out into a card.
A message.
And these days, it's all over text. It's WhatsApp messages or, you know, a digital Raya card. How has this shift changed the message that we are sending out to our friends and to our family? Or, you know, has that message, the message is still there, it's just that the medium has changed?
It's become very impersonal, you know. It's like one click of the finger, you just send it to so many people. So the depth isn't there, but the spread is there. You can send it to anyone all over the world, you know. But yeah, sometimes when I receive so many, I don't look at them anymore. It's just memes, you know, just Happy New Year or Selamat Hari Raya, like, you know. So what I try to do is put a bit of meaning sometimes by addressing the person along with that little message.
I do that too.
How are you and so on. And for people who really matter, especially the seniors, I like to give them a phone call and wish them personally. Yeah. But on the other hand, it's quite environment friendly, because in the past you had all these Chinese New Year cards and you're so proud that, you know, house is red for us Chinese. So the more the better you decorate your whole hall and your walls with it. But at the end of the day, after Chinese New Year, what do you do with them? You throw them away. So in a way, these cards are, you know, and well, not using the cards is environment friendly, but yeah, it's lost that
True,
personal
there are pros and cons.
Yeah, there are pros and
But
cons.
it was quite exciting, you know, receiving Hari Raya cards in your mailbox. Have we lost the art of writing, NINOT?
Yes, I personally, I think I would love it if those handwritten cards are kept. Maybe not to everybody, but when it truly matters, we should have those Hari Raya cards. I think this year I'm going to do some.
Yeah,
okay. But on the social media thing, you're right, Dr. Lee. It is more sustainable. It's better for the environment. But what I really do is, someone even commented this to me. They said, I try to personalize my messages to each person. They have their own message, and it comes from the heart, and I think that's what matters. And I don't send out those generic gambar anymore. It is. I think it's better that it's a message sent out, asking about the year, mentioning the last thing that we did, and now it's easier because social media, you have everything there. So
let's just scroll back.
just scroll back. Yes. But you can make it personal.
Yeah.
And making it personal, I think, is what matters. Yeah.
Right. You know, back then we had our grandmothers, right, who would be the ones, the matriarch of the family, who would be in the kitchen doing all of the cooking. And then as years pass by, you know, the recipes get handed down to our mothers, and then now to us. And I think we all find ourselves in a position where, you know, maybe for most of us, we've lost our grandmothers. For many of us, our own mothers are aging, and now we feel as if, you know, that responsibility falls on our shoulders to be the gatekeepers of, you know, family recipes, of traditions. Do you think our youth today are quite ready to, you know, whether you like it or not, it's something that we need to keep within ourselves, otherwise our identities will be lost.
Yes.
You know, or are the younger generations reinventing Raya into something that's more relatable to them?
Maybe I have a go at this because I just lost my mom in November last year. But then, the few years before that, I could see her transferring roles to me. I could really feel it. For example, we have this tradition of sharing stories, which is, in our family, we share stories that might be 200 years, but it feels like it's just 2 decades ago. And some of it is in here, what she has told me. I've actually put it in a book. Now, those stories, one. And number two, because we have this lineage, like 8-9 generations. So we actually use Hari Raya to talk about that lineage, because Pahang, from the Hikayat Pahang until now, we have our family stories, little anecdotes and all that. So we continue telling that, and she was telling me, and she kept saying this. She kept saying, okay, sekarang ni kalau nak refer apa ni keturunan anak tok tunggal, anak ni semua, kena tanya Kak Lina. So she was gently kind of, you know, and then slowly I was bringing out that book. We have this and this is tied to this, and I was telling it. So she was preparing me, and then the good part is, then I noticed my daughters who were not really interested before, but they are now keeping all those little stories. Oh, that one we haven't heard before. This one, so they might not be telling it, but they are taking note.
Right.
They are taking note, and I'm sure one day they will bring it back for their children and all that. So for us, it is important we write it, we tell it, we share it so that they know these stories exist. And then we have to leave it to them. We can't be responsible for everything. leave it to them to take it on.
Right.
Yeah,
And often it falls on the shoulders of women, right?
Yeah, because usually when you're young, you're not interested. You've got other priorities like
Yes.
romance, boyfriend, girlfriend, getting married, buying a house, mortgage. So all these things like, oh, they don't matter.
Yeah.
But as you grow older, you know, you become more aware. So it's the same for me when I was young. I mean, I'm not interested. But I think when I was in my 30s and my mother got ill and she didn't have very much time left. She died of cancer. She passed away from cancer. But even she could sense the urgency. I remember those months before, well, she was hospitalized. She came home, operation after operation, and I could sense the urgency that she knew that, you know, she had to sort of pass on all this heritage that she has. Fortunately, because she's such a good cook, well, sometimes you go in the kitchen and learn from her. So in those last few months, you know, you really try to learn as much as you can. And so now, I don't have a daughter, unfortunately, but I have a son, and he's interested in cooking. So I try to pass on recipes, getting him into the kitchen, getting him to cook with me, inviting friends over for home-cooked meals, Nyonya dishes. So in that sense, passing on the legacies.
Right. And even for me personally, I mean, like you said, you know, it wouldn't have crossed our minds at that time when I was younger. But now that I have my own children, I'm very, very grateful that I've had the opportunity and a chance to, you know, get some of our family recipes, and it has been handed down. And it's something that even I continue to do every Hari Raya. You know, there's a cake that we bake every year, and I think it's just one of those little things that really just keep the family traditions together. We've got a few minutes left towards the end of our show now. If I could just get a little bit from the both of you, if you could bottle up something, you know, from your days that you would like to gift it to our current generation, and just so that they would have that feeling of nostalgia, and just so that they would have something to bring with them as they progress and have their families, and something that can be brought to the future, what would that feeling or nostalgia be?
Well, mine would be a magic bottle. If I only could bottle up all the sounds and smells and flavors and happiness and joy into a bottle to convey what we went through in the past back then. If only I had this kind of magic bottle where you could open it and you can imbue them with this fantastic atmosphere, that would be fantastic.
Right,
Yeah.
and you know,
Put aside all the things you have, your baju, your kronsang, your doko, whatever it is. I think I've done it. I put it in my books. So those stories are what I hope you can carry forward. And even the voice of my mother are in my books. I'm publishing her novel actually that I did not get to do. It's called Purnama, about her life in Pahang. So I'm publishing that. So those stories, no matter who you are, wherever you are, your station in life, you can always tell a story.
right.
And that story, if imbued with your way of life, your history, your heritage, hikayat and history, is something you can take on forever.
Can I add to that as well? The wonderful way we speak Malaysian English, you know, is very unique. We tend to underrate ourselves, but because it's such a rich, vibrant, multicultural society, there's lots of very interesting phenomena, and one would be Manglish. And this is the next book that's coming out. Two books actually for this year. It's called Manglish, Malaysian English at its wackiest. All the fun ways that we talk and communicate with each other. And the other book is a novel, which is also coming out sometime in June or July. Again, based on experiences of my mother and the family.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. At the end of it, just very quickly, a short bit of advice for those of us who are here, you know, who may not have had the privilege of having family traditions, but something that we can do for ourselves and for our family moving forward. What's that one thing that we can do?
I think like what
You know,
Neil
giving it a
said.
thought.
I think for me, I think probably NINOT would probably agree to, as writers, as authors, writing our stories, recording, documenting, capturing all the zeitgeist of our communities, you know, because material culture comes and goes, but these stories are, you know, very, very precious. So if we don't document them, if we don't record them, they'll be lost forever. So yeah, stories and recipes, very important.
Yes, that I have said, but I think Hari Raya, pass through the bridge.
Right.
Have that family together, have that dinner or makan pagi or whatever it is, have that time together and tell stories there. Connect.
Right, and that's a non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
If that's one thing that you should do, you have to do. That would be it.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Lee, and also NINOT, for sharing all of your little, very precious anecdotes, and also, you know, the things that we really should cherish and bring with us, and also pass down to the younger generations. Thank you, everyone, for being with us on a special edition of the Nation Raya. I'm PASHA RAHIM. I hope that you all are also having a wonderful celebration with your friends and family. Have a wonderful Hari Raya this year. Take care.